I am going to choke the bus. I am taking the key, putting it in my pocket, and leaving my door open in an emergency. I am going out using 3 points of contact. I am taking the choke blocks. I am closing the door. I choked the bus. I am now coming on the bus using 3 points of contact, returning my door to normal. I am sitting, opening and closing the door. I am fastening my seatbelt. The first portion of my air brake test is to ensure maximum air pressure in my tanks. I will start the bus and accelerate while watching my needle rise to the governor cutout, which is between 120 and 140 psi. My needle is not moving. I have to release some air up to 100 psi, and I want my needle to move down to 100 psi. Now, I will assist it to the governor cutout again, which is maximum air pressure between 120 and 140 psi. I watch my needle move. The governor cutout at 135 psi. Now, I am going to perform the parking brake air leakage test. I should not lose more than 5 to 15 psi. I am watching my needle move. My needle is at 124 psi. I lost 11 psi. I should not lose more than 3 psi in one timed minute. The time starts now. I am watching my needle and counting down the seconds to 1 minute. 1 minute is up. My needle is still at 124 psi. I have lost 0 psi. Now, I am going to perform my service brake leakage test. I should not lose more than 5 to 15 psi. I am going to apply 90 pounds of pressure to my service brake and watch my needle move. My needle is at 110 psi. I lost 14 psi. I should not lose more than 3 psi in one timed minute. The time starts now. I counted the seconds to 1 minute and watched my needle move. My needle is still at 110 psi. I have lost 0 psi. Now, I will perform a low-pressure warning light/alarm test. The warning lights and alarm should come on before 55 psi. I will pump down the brakes and hold until they do. The warning lights and alarm come on at 65 psi. I will now perform the automatic spring brake function test. I will continue to pump down the brake, watching my needle move. The automatic spring brake should engage or pop out between 20 and 45 psi. I am pumping the brakes, and I am listening. The automatic spring brakes engaged or pop out at 25 psi. I will now do my rate of pressure build-up test. I will assist it by accelerating it up to 85 psi. At 85 psi, it should climb up to 100 psi unassisted within 45 seconds. I am going to start timing now. It took 20 seconds to reach 100 psi. I will now assist it up to the governor cutout between 120 and 140 psi. The governor cutout at 135 psi. I am now going to do my governor cut-in test. I am going to release the parking brake and pump down the service brake, watching my needle move down to 100 psi, and then I am going to reapply the parking brake. My governor cut in at 125, and I will now assist it to the governor cutout, which is between 120 and 140 psi. The governor has a cutout at 135 psi. My next test is the parking brake test. I have to uncheck the bus to do it. I am going to turn off the bus. I am going to take my key with me to unchock the bus. I am using 3 points of contact. I am going to leave my door in an emergency. I am going to close the door. I have unchocked the bus. I am coming on the bus using 3 points of contact. I am going to start the bus. My tanks are still full. By this bus, I need to compound my service brakes when shifting gears. I am going to compound my brakes and shift gear in drive. I am going to accelerate up between 1200 and 1500 RPMs. The parking brake holds. I am now going to test my service brakes. My tanks need to be at full pressure. I will compound my service brakes again and shift gears in drive. I will move forward at 5 miles per hour and apply a panic brake. My bus did not move on either side. There was no unusual noise and no delayed stop. That is the end of the air brake test.